In a previous slide, I talked about this superfauna, all of these gigantic animals that the people are following and hunting off of. They're dying off, mainly because of the fact that the climate is starting to warm up. The ice ages are over, and now you have a more modern day climate. And these large animals, I'm talking about bison that makes modern day bison look like poodles. Okay, so anyway, they're dying off. So the question is, what are people going to do? Right? The people, of course, are going to start, looking at other alternative foods, smaller animals, more gathering. And another option, of course, is going to be the rise of agriculture. Now, don't start thinking that modern day mechanized, perfect roads that you see on the side of the roads as you drive through the country. Nah, we're not talking about that kind of agriculture. We're talking about agriculture that supplements rather than replaces hunting and gathering, right? So the results, of course, is going to be is that we are going to have an effect on the human population. Think about it. What are some effects of having agriculture now as a food source? Well, first of all, you're going to have an increase in population, right? Because now you can have more food. More food means you can support a larger population, right? That's one thing. Another thing is going to be you're going to see that people are going to be sedentary, right? They're going to stick where they are. Remember, they go from nomads, and still there are nomadic people out there, don't get me wrong, but there's going to be much more of a tendency for people to stay where they are. Why? Well, because you can't move a farm. I've never driven down any highway and seen a oversized load that had a farm on it. Maybe a barn, but definitely not the full freaking farm, right? So they're going to stay, right? And thus we start to see populations start to grow and grow and grow. And not to mention the fact that now you have people that are specializing in just farming. Right? So no longer is it an all hands on deck type of situation where everybody needs to be involved in the food cultivation business, right? Now you can have people that specialize, not in various things. Pottery, right? Religion. If you're a religious person or a spiritual person, you're going to start developing a lot more religious things within your society. All right. I said pottery, artists. I mean, a lot of, the things that we're talking about here is basically the rudimentary building blocks of civilization, right? It's no coincidence that all the civilizations, ancient and modern, are all going to be, to start out with farming, right? And start next to rivers for the most part. You got Rome with the Tiber. You've got Egypt with the Nile, right? You got all the Mesopotamians between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. And why are they able to establish large societies and large civilizations? It's because of the fact they have enough water to create more food supplies. And thus, when you have more food, you can have more people. So that's kind of an effect of agriculture on human beings. The fact that you have a larger population, you have specialization of people. You have people that are going to stick around a lot more than they used to. All of this creates what we call civilization. Now, what are some early crops when it comes to farming here in the Americas? Well, you have stuff that we take for granted. You have beans, you have rice, you have you have a type of corn called maize, squash, peppers. Agricultural products that are mostly identified with the New World. Remember, tomatoes don't show up in Italy until after Columbus. Imagine Italian food without tomatoes, right? It would suck, and it pretty much did. All right. So the final question on the slide here is: does farming completely replace hunting? The question, and the answer is no, it doesn't. It supplements. It's not like we go from carnivores to herbivores, right? No, we're not going to become a bunch of vegetarians. No, it supplements what people are able to get when it comes to farming, and not to mention the fact domestication of various animals. Now, keep in mind, the horse, the cow, and the pig does not show up into the Americas until the Spanish arrive. They are, the horse is extinct after the Ice Age, all the way until we get to the Spanish. Right? And then, of course, the cow and the pig don't even show up until the Europeans show up. Nevertheless, farming does not completely replace hunting. All it does is supplement, what people are able to get when it comes to hunting and gathering.